Bert, a man of many trades, introduces the audience to the unhappy Banks family, Father George, Mother Winifred, and the children Jane and Michael. The family, the housekeeper Mrs. Brill and the houseboy Robertson A., are shocked when Katie Nana quits and storms out in frustration. While George muses about what he expects from the nanny, Jane and Michael insist upon their own requirements for their caregiver, and George dismisses their requests. As if summoned, Mary Poppins appears, offering her services as a nanny. She fits the children's requirements exactly. She then takes the children to the park where they meet Bert, who describes how wonderful everyday life can be when spending time with Mary. At first, the children are not convinced, but after spending time with her, Jane and Michael are in awe of Mary Poppins. The children return home and gush to their father about the nanny, but George is preoccupied. A few weeks later, the household is preparing for Winifred's party, and Jane and Michael make a mess of the house. Despite Mary's magic, the party is ruined when no one attends. Later, Mary takes the children on a visit to George's workplace, the bank. While clerks are bustling about and clients are trying to convince George to grant them a loan, the children burst into the bank. After a thought-provoking conversation with his children, George turns down von Hustler's loan but agrees to give a loan to the kindly John Northbrook. As Mary and the children pass the cathedral and meet an old bird woman, afterwards, Mary whisks Jane and Michael off to Mrs. Corey's talking shop. Later, Mary Poppins and the children return home to find George in a foul mood due to the unfortunate events at the bank. Upset about their father's behavior, the children argue with Mary Poppins, convinced they must learn their next lesson on their own, and she puts them to bed and leaves behind a note before flying away over the rooftop. 6 weeks pass, and the household struggles without Mary Poppins. The household tidies up the house for the arrival of a surprise guest, George's former nanny, Miss Andrew, who immediately reveals herself to be a stern and cruel woman. Unhappy with their new nanny, the children run away and happen upon Bert in the park, who consoles them and produces a red kite. The kite ascends out of view, and when it's reeled in, it brings Mary Poppins back with it. At home, Mary demands that Miss Andrew leaves. Miss Andrew resists, but flees after receiving a spoonful of her own medicine from Mary Poppins. The family is relieved to have Mary Poppins back. However, the children are still burdened by their father's grim situation. On the roof, Bert and his fellow chimney sweeps cheer them up with a lively tune. Afterwards, the bank chairman speaks to George that evening and shares that von Hustler's scheme has ruined the rival's bank, while Northbrook has become very successful and is set to make George's bank a fortune. The family is thrilled by their change of fortune. Back at the bank's house, Bert realizes that Mary Poppins will be leaving soon, as the family no longer needs her help. He bids her farewell, leaving behind only a locket. Mary Poppins disappears into the sky. However, she leaves the bank's family much happier than when she found them, and they vow never to forget her. We hope you enjoyed the show.